Well, today is Friday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we have AEW Rampage, featuring, of course, a classic rivalry that now made its way to AEW. We're talking about Rocky Romero taking on his longtime rival, Mistico. So basically, you're going to see a little piece of how things with CML works down there, and it's going to be different. A 2 out of 3 falls. And then, of course, we have, a #1 contendership in a three-way match between Silver, Brother Zay, and, of course, Kip Sabian. And then we have BCC taking action. And then finally, Ruby Soho takes on Sky Blue. Then we move on to see who's going to level up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up. We're going to find out. But also, we're going to cap it up with some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are being set, any wrestlers that either been signed or departing from whatever promotion, of course, injured wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of daily reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere where wrestling is not as big, but it is growing. We also do some discussion videos. We do some more news updates, some updates, alert what's been going on, and various other things. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us on the subscribe button, where you'll be getting a lot of daily reviews from this channel. And of course, if you like this episode, give us a like on the like button or a nice comment down below. So let's move on with, of course, our first review, which is AEW Rampage. Now, our opening match is, of course, a 2 out of 3 falls match between Rocky Romero and Mistico. Now, their rivalry dates back about a year ago during a Grand Prix match where, of course, Mistico won. However, these two guys are champions in their own right with the same promotion, CMLL. Rocky Romero is the CML World Historic Welterweight Champion, while Mistico is the World Middleweight Champion. But here's the best part. They also brought in a referee from CMLL. Completely different environment, how you people will normally see in an AEW ring. However, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Now, those who are unaware about how things work in CML, majority of their matches, they normally like to put in 2 out of 3 falls. That's always been very common. Now, some of you may ask me, won't they normally do just one fall? Yes, they do on certain occasions, either championship matches or special matches, however they want to throw it in. But that's how it works down there. But seeing this rivalry between both of them is something you probably don't see much if you guys don't have the Latin channels to see MLL. I haven't watched those channels in years, but I do follow it on social media. But this is how it goes. First of all, goes to Mistico, where he applied a submission. Now, I don't know what kind of submission he was using, but I am familiarized with Mistico with one submission. Now, the next fall goes to Rocky when he applied the sliced bread onto Mistico, picking up that win. Now, however, it becomes sudden death between both. Who was going to walk out? Now, there are moments we did see Rocky Romero try to rip off the mask of Mistico. In Lucha Libre culture, it signs of the disrespect when you rip off a wrestler's mask. But of course, that's how the world plays out that way. But it was Mistico with the Mistica, his submission, that put him away, giving him the win. And of course, if you guys remember, I did reveal that CML did put out a statement about the great hospitality that Tony Khan and AEW has put out. It seems like they may want to continue their working relationship. AEW are well known to work with various promotions, doesn't matter where, but doors are always open for them. Now, this was not posted on AEW, but this later a show where Stokely Hathaway was in talks with both Eddie Kingston and Jay Lethal. Now, Jay Lethal, who feels disgust at the fact that Eddie Kingston has the Ring of Honor World Championship in his midst. He feels that, guys like Homicide didn't do so well, Claudio, all this stuff. So basically, Hathaway came up with an idea that Eddie Kingston will be in a match against Jeff Jarrett. However, if Jeff Jarrett wins, Jay Lethal wins. So, however, Eddie Kingston, he knows the kind of person, of course, Jeff Jarrett is. So they think that Eddie Kingston this will be the end of him, and sooner or later he will lose the Ring of Honor Championship. But they forget, he's not someone you don't want to trick lightly. So I don't know if the guitar might be enough to put him down, but that's going to be interesting to see. So that will happen, I believe, next week. Now, our next match is a three-way match for the number one contendership to face Orange Cassidy for the AEW International Championship. We have John Silver versus Kip Sabian versus Brother Zay. Now, of course, we have been seeing Silver along with the Dark Order with the new attitude, like saying they're good, but they're still back into their old roots when they were still like running things with Brody Lee before his timely passing. But pretty much it was pretty good. However, it was Silver that knocked out Brother Zay with a kick into the temple and pick up the win. So he will be facing Orange Cassidy, and I think that match may take place next week or so. Next up, we have the hostilities between both Ortiz and Santana. As you know, since Santana made his way, he made it perfectly clear that he will no longer be teaming with Ortiz. So Ortiz has been trying to find out what's going on. So basically, Santana has been avoiding him. So now things are raising high. So they will have a match between those two next week on Rampage. Next up, we have Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli, the BCC, taking on a couple of guys. We have Exodus Prime and, of course, the Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith. I thought the match was okay, but you can say it could be a squash match, but it was the fastball special by the BCC onto Prime to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have the former members of the Jericho Appreciation Society. We're talking about Daddy Magic, Cool Hands, Garcia, Hager, and, of course, Anna Jay. However, tensions between the members themselves, especially Daddy Magic and Garcia, continues to rise because he feels that all of this. So Hagar, who has been pretty much upset with Menard's attitude towards Garcia. Now remember, the last match they had together as a trios, they won. However, Menard was taking a fit over the fact that Garcia was dancing. However, even though he finds his dancing annoying, he still cares about him, but they need to squash it because they do have an opportunity for the AEW Trios Championship. So that's what they need to focus. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, speaking of trios, we do have trios in Ring of Honor. We're talking about the Hung Bucks, or the Elite. Hangman Adam Page and Matt Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. So they decided to issue an open challenge for the ROH six-man World Tag Team titles on Dynamite. So the obvious question is, who will step up to the plate? That's going to be interesting to see. So we'll stay tuned for that. Our next and our final match is, of course, Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue. Now, Sky Blue, as you know, has a new attitude. She is not much cheery as she used to be. She's not even acknowledging her fans because, as you know, because of what happened a while back, she got blacklisted by Julia Hart. So maybe the effects, what happened to Julia Hart, is also affecting, of course, Sky Blue. So that's one of the things. However, I did like how Sky Blue is showing a bit of the aggressiveness, but of course she had to contend with Saraya, who's outside where Ruby Soho is. But however, because of the distractions, Saraya used the spray can to knock out Sky Blue, and pretty much that's how it happens. But it did ended with Ruby Soho picking up the pinfall. But at the end, there was a beatdown between Saraya and Ruby Soho. Chris Statlander showed up. However, Sky Blue was not too keen of having her help, so she walked out. So we'll see where that leads us between them. So we'll stay close to that story. So right now, let's move on with our last and final review, which is NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on NXT Level Up? We'll find out because we only have 2 matches involving in this. The first one we have tag team action. We got Malik Blade and Edris Enofe taking on a very interesting makeshift team. We're talking about Boa and Danton Chen. Now, it's very unusual to see Chen and Boa team up because we normally have seen these two in singles competition. Now, I can say this for everyone because I'm willing to admit this, that I felt this match was going to fall in favor of Enofe and Blade. The reason I believe that is because they are much of a stable team than, of course, Boa and Chen. Now, I'm not saying Chen and Boa are not a good tag team, but the problem is that, not that I have, but more like understanding the opinion is, of course, Chen and Boa are a makeshift. They just been planted together. However, I did like how the commentators talked about Chen and Boa, about since they're both in the same class together when they first joined at the performance. So it would make sense that it would bring upon like an Asian type of connection between them. But however, I did figure that it was Enofe and Blade that picked up the win when they put away Chen by pinfall thanks to Enofe. So that's practically what I thought about it. But I have to say, it's only a matter of time before Blade and Enofe reach where they need to go, which is, of course, the NXT Tag Team titles. Now, before our next match, which is going to be a bit of the main event, one person from that match, Fallon Henley, along with Jensen and Briggs, were having an interview because, as you know, Fallon will be facing against Lash Legend. So that practically, but however, the X factor of this, as you know, in the match, Lash Legend is a member of the Metaphor. She'll have Jakara Jackson, Noam Dar, and of course Mensa by her side. However, Fallon Henley will have, of course, Jensen and Briggs by hers. So there's a bit of a numbers game here. As you know, Metaphor, there's only 4. There's only 3 of them. But however, that did not stop Fallon for no matter what reason it took place. But it only took a Shining Wizard by Fallon Henley to put away Lash Legend to pick up the win. So I can say we could see a bright future with Fallon Henley in NXT. It's only a matter of time until she finally going to reach possibly one of her goals, which is the NXT Women's title. So we'll see where that leads us to. But I think that's pretty much what we have for NXT Level Up. So I say let's move on to our final thing, and that is news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far to update on everybody what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. Not too long ago, I mentioned that Genichiro ended up in a hospital due to some medical issue. However, haven't heard anything from it back then. However, now it's been told by Pro Wrestling Noah's Twitter page that he's recovering in a true style. And the kind of style that he is recovering, I don't know if you guys would think that's a good way. He's drinking beer every day, so I don't know if that's a proper way to recover. But some people are saying that man has balls or whatever you want to say. But he also is getting muscle training as well. So I have to say it's a good sign that he's recovering well. But like I said, I don't know if you call drinking beer every day a good way to recover. So we'll see that. Fightful Selects reports about Serena Deeb that she was in the much recent tapings of AEW Collisions. Now we haven't seen her; she hasn't stepped up uh, in a company dressing room for almost a year. Now we don't know what's the significance of her being there now, but I'm sure as time will go on, we'll find out. Um, Jersey Championship Wrestling, or better known as JCW, has announced for the Quick and Dead show taking place on November 12th. They announced that Billy Starks will be making her return. An interesting interview that was made from, well, the person who was interviewed is none other than Japanese wrestler Shigehiro Irie. He mentioned something that's very interesting. He says this: "My home country is Germany. When I fight in Japan, I consider myself representing for WXW and Germany." So yeah, I know that Shigehiro is a household name not only in the Japanese wrestling scene but also in the international scene. He has wrestled all over the world, but mostly spent time in Europe. So that would make sense. I mean, his primary promotion that he was ever been in was in DDT until he decided to leave and go do his own thing. But yeah, so kind of interesting to hear that about him. Now, Prestige Wrestling has announced for an upcoming show on the 12th of November. We're talking about called Alive. They did announce that the Midnight Heat will be in action. They take on the debut of Brothers Divine. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Brothers Divine are a tag team here from Southern California, mostly in the LA area. I have seen one of the Divine Brothers before during the Level Up shows, or now known as San Diego Pro Wrestling Academy. They normally are like a duo, but they do have another person by their side. But it's great to hear some SoCal representation heading to Prestige Wrestling. That's pretty awesome. Now, next up, as you know, this was reported by Wrestling Observer. Now, if you guys remember, Matt Riddle was recently released from the company, from WWE. He's been recently in talks with multiple wrestling, MMA, and boxing companies. However, it appears that he got himself in talks with Premier Fighting League and Bare Knuckles Fight Cage. So we know that because of his attitude or his whatever he goes through, he's probably will be unable to be in a wrestling ring or anything. But yeah, we'll see how that rolls out for him from here on out. Next up, DEFY Wrestling has announced an interesting thing for a 2-day show where they'll be sharing this venue called the Washington Hall in Seattle, called the Kids and Wah Hall. So this is the Washington Hall. But on the 17th of November, it was announced that GCW will take venue for that, and then DEFY will take the 18th. So that's pretty amazing. Now, interesting news development for All Japan Pro Wrestling. We have brand new All Japan TV 6-man tag team champions. We have Suwama, Mayuhiki, and Mayumi Ozaki defeating Eruption, Saki Akai, Hideki Okatani, and of course Yukio Sakaguchi. So I haven't seen that match yet. Hopefully I'll review that one. Ice Ribbon has announced a very interesting event taking place at Samurai TV on the 5th of 11. A very interesting card has been announced. This is what we do know. We have Sakura Iroda teaming up with Ayako Sato and Hamko. They take on, of course, Hoshi Ibuki, our current Ice Infinity champion, Kazuna Tanaka and Arisa. Our second match, we do have Aja Kong teaming up with Hiroya Matsumoto and Aya Mizunami, and of course Ryo Mizunami. They take on Yuri, Yukari Ozukawa, and Ayumu Kaide. And in our next match, we do have a very interesting one. Arisa Nakajima, Saki Aruka Umasaki. They take on Mayu Hiki, Unagi Sayaka, and Riko Kaiju. But they do bring in men for this particular show. We do have Masaaki Chono taking on Shota Umino. I don't know what was the purpose of that, but he's not the only one. Apparently, there's another special talk battle between Keiji Muto and Kaito Kiyomiya. I don't. Basically, they're gonna have some sort of talks. I don't know. So I don't know what's the purpose of that, but we'll find out. Now, Mickie James was interviewed about her husband, Nick Aldis. You may know he's now the new current GM for SmackDown. So she did state it that AEW did offer him, but he turned it down. So this is what she had to say. It's really interesting when I was back at WWE there for an opportunity for Nick to go to AEW. He turned it down because it was too much on our family for him to be on the road full time along with me. Our son Donovan was 3 or 4. I think it was. I think about it now, and it was shifted. Nick has deserved this opportunity for a long time. A lot of people don't realize he has been in this for almost 20 years. I say the way our careers have gone, it's weird not really being in the same place for long. But I think it's by design. We have to do our best for our son first. That means someone have to have a lighter schedule, business picked up for all this family in the wrestling world. If people don't know who Nick Aldis is, they will. He is an incredible talent, and this was part of the interview with TV Insider. So yeah, so if you're not familiarized with Nick Aldis, you should check out some of the TNA days when he was known as Magnum. Um, Pretty good. He was also, I think he was the TNA champion at the time. I can't remember, but yes. So it's kind of interesting. Now, our final update, a very interesting comment from you to newcomer Chi-Chi. Now, if you guys know who she is, Chi-Chi, she is from the Evolution Girls, a project that was created from All Japan. Recently, Chi-Chi, along with Zones and now formerly Sunny, they have been participating in various promotions, not only having their own shows, but Chi-Chi has been considered by many as a prospect wrestler. Now, recently, she has picked up a pretty good win during an independent show that was produced by Tsurumi Natsu for the Y shirt match, which is her first win so far. There are a lot of people that we could see a lot of great things happen in her career. However, you, on the other hand, teamed up with her in Sendai's, which, of course, you had some interesting words that she wanted to say. And this is what she said. Thank you, Sendai. Thank you for Osaka tournament. It's unbearable to be finished with a bright red breast. I kept hitting Mizunami with chops, but I couldn't get my first tag victory with Chi-Chi. Actually, I was Chi-Chi's debut opponent. I always think that way shows off the strong-willed gaze during her match is wonderful. Even though her partner and career are different, it's only been a half of year. But I think there's a lot more expectation for these two Evo girls. But there's no doubt that they're great newcomers. So I'm excited for both of them. Chi-Chi, we will win next time we team up. So basically, Chi-Chi, who has been declared by many as a high prospect wrestler, apparently there's Yu is giving her some praises that she is a talent that many people should pay attention. Even Chi-Chi responded kindness to her, saying that she felt disappointed that did not win, but it does give her comforting knowing that Yu is a reliable partner. So they will like to team up again and try. But I wouldn't be surprised if down the line Chi-Chi will definitely want to challenge Yu for another singles run. But we'll see what happens. So we'll find out how her career goes. But let's see. We'll see. So but for now, we'll just call it a day. So I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you may or may not have been aware, Day 1 for the Super Junior Tag League has begun. So I can't wait to see what teams we're expecting. We do see some interesting makeshift teams being formed. due to some tag team partner circumstances. I can't wait to see that. We do have two AEW shows coming up. We do have Collision and Battle of the Belts, but I haven't decided yet if I want to put in something before that. But we will see what happens until then. But for now, we're just gonna wing it from here on out, and then hope for the best. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.